Think of the story of Aisha radiallahu anha. Aisha, who was accused of a zina. Is that now? Because that's corruption in the society. You're causing now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةَ فِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. That those, لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. That those that love that people speak about taboo subjects among believers. تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةَ. They want the talk of al-fahisha, of zina, of fornication, of adultery. They want people to talk about it. Did you hear that this person committed adultery? Did you hear that that person committed adultery? Did you hear that? So who was the person that was behind the accusation against Aisha? He was the head of the munafiqeen, the leader of the hypocrites, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. So they're trying to cause corruption in the society by ruining the bonds that the believers have between them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spent 10 ayahs in Surah An-Nur, Surah 24, talking to them and saying, why didn't you, when this happened, why didn't you respond by saying this is a great lie? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do this? And what was the reaction of Abu Bakr? Accused Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he looked at his cousin, whose name was Mislah ibn Uthatha, who also accused Aisha. Mislah was one of the great Sahaba. He fought in the Battle of Badr, but he fell into a sin. He fell into a major sin. Abu Bakr said, I'm never going to give him money ever again. Abu Bakr was wealthy, providing for him. I'm never going to spend on him again. Look at how they tried to break the bonds of the believers by spreading this rumor. And the believers didn't know better, and they engaged in it, some of them. And so it broke the bonds. This is corruption in society. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, وَلَا يَأْتَلِي. He told Abu Bakr specifically, but this ayah applies to everyone. وَلَا يَأْتَلِي أُولُو الْفَضْلِ مِنْكُمْ وَالسَّعَةِ أَنْ يُؤْتُوا أُولِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. That those of you that are wealthy, don't withhold your money from your relative and the poor and the migrants. وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا. Let them forgive, let them forget. تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Because don't you want Allah to forgive you? So when Abu Bakr heard that ayah, he said, Bala, yeah, of course, I want Allah to forgive me. So he went back to giving Mislah, who accused his daughter of adultery, went back to giving him money. So this is how they corrupt society. But then when you tell them stop doing that, they say, إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. We are the only ones that are doing good, right? And so this wording here, actually, it's called al-qasr. Al-qasr. Al-qasr means they limit it to themselves. Only we are the ones that are doing good. So they're telling the believers are saying, stop disobeying Allah and His Messenger. Do things that are good in this religion. Do things that are good in this deen. How do they respond? You guys are not doing anything good. We're the ones that are doing good, right? We're the ones that are doing good. And the only thing that we do is good. So we're the only ones that do good, and none of our actions are bad. The only things that we do is good things. Why do they say this? Why do they have this belief about themselves? Why do they have this false belief? في قلوبهم مرض. They have a sickness in their hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already explained. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after this ayah, He says, when it's said to them, don't cause corruption in the world, they say, we are reformers. We are causing good change. ألا إنهم هم المفسدون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, first says, ألا. ألا is a word that is used to grab someone's attention. So Allah is grabbing your attention. And then He's saying, إنهم هم. That they are the ones. So he emphasizes it twice. That those people, they are the ones. So He doesn't just say, no, they are actually corruptors. He says, listen, everyone, it's actually that they are the ones, they cause corruption. Those people, they are the ones that cause corruption. To emphasize the point that it's not the believers that cause corruption. It's only the munafiqeen and the non-believers that cause corruption. أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ. They are the corruptors. Not just they cause corruption, they are the corruptors. And so when you refer to someone as a corrupter and you say he causes corruption, right? Just like saying you lied versus you are a liar. You are a liar versus you lied. Lied is a verb. You did it once maybe. Versus you are a liar. That's a noun. Now that describes you. That's an adjective that describes you. Here it's saying they are the corruptors. Not they corrupt sometimes and sometimes. No. They are the corruptors. Not the believers. Just like when you say, for example, that person is the man. Right? He's the man. It's to emphasize that this person has qualities of manhood, of manliness that maybe others don't have. And so when you're saying they are the corruptors, they have those qualities and no one else has them among the believers. And all of the corruptors are from these categories of individuals. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they are the corruptors, it shows that every other corruption that happens from the believers is minor compared to what they're doing. Right? We already talked about it. You corrupt yourself, you corrupt your family, you corrupt the place, the Confederates during the Battle of the Trenches. They're assisting them and saying, and they're trying to put doubts in the hearts of the believers and saying, oh, Allah promised us lies, and this is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave us false hopes. And they were saying, Inna buyutana awra. We don't want to go out and fight with you because our homes, that's our private areas, and we're afraid that somebody's going to attack our homes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا هِيَ بِعَوْرَةٍ. No, your houses are not exposed to attack. إِن يُرِيدُونَ إِلَّا فِرَارًا. They only want to flee from the battle because they're cowards. Right? فِي قُلُوبِهِم مَرَضٍ. Not of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, punishing them in the akhirah. The fear that they would face some punishment from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this dunya. That's the fear that they had. They didn't want to go through the torment, the bodily torment. They don't believe in the hereafter anyway. So why would they be fearful of a punishment from Allah? They want to just live their lives in peace, in one piece, without Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam knowing about their true character and then exposing them, and then the believers, taking vengeance on them for their crimes. And so when they say all of these different excuses to Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, inna buyutana awra, وما هي بعورة إن يريدون إلا فرارا ولو دخلت عليهم من أقطارها ثم سئلوا الفتنة لآتوها. That if they were being called to fitna, to cause problems, لآتوها, they would have ran and fled right to it. Fitna is happening, let me come and get myself involved. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ألا إنهم هم المفسدون. They are the corruptors. ولكن لا يشعرون. But they don't perceive their corruption. They don't realize it. It shows that the actions that they do, the consequences of their actions, because of how bad their intellects are, they can't even see the outcome of their own actions. They don't see the outcome of their own actions. And that shows that they have a deep sickness in their hearts. That's why Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam used to make the dua, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah. Oh Allah, show us the truth as truth and allow us to follow it. And show us falsehood as falsehood and allow us to stray away from it. Right? These people, they see, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes some people in Surah Al-A'raf, He says, وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الرُّشْدِ لَا يَتَّخِذُوهُ سَبِيلًا. When they see the path of guidance, they don't take it as their path. وَإِن يَرَوْا سَبِيلَ الْغَيِّ يَتَّخِذُوهُ سَبِيلًا. But when they see the path of evil, of sinfulness, they take it as their path. So the concepts that they have are completely flipped. The good is bad and the bad is good. Obedience to Allah and His Messenger becomes, you are causing corruption if you follow Allah and His Messenger. And the opposite becomes true. If I cause corruption in the world, I am now making the world a better place. Because they lack the ability to perceive, to know the outcome of their actions. So this shows again the sickness in their hearts. It shows also that they are individuals that when they come to an opinion, when they think about an opinion, their opinions are always wrong. They always say something that's wrong. We know people like that. I'm sure in your life, if you can think of somebody that every time he gives you advice, it's bad advice. Every time he gives you an advice, it's bad advice. Brother, I want to marry this sister. Oh yeah, go ahead. And he knows the things, or a sister comes to an imam and says, I want to marry him. The sister, she's getting old. She should get married now. If she doesn't marry this guy, nobody's going to marry her. And then the guy ends up being abusive or a fasiq or this or that. Right? Every time they give you advice, it's a bad advice. That is one of the sifat of the munafiqeen. It actually is. That doesn't make somebody a hypocrite, but it shows is that you share with them in that concept, that you can't realize the outcome of your actions. You think you're doing good, but you're only doing bad. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves to another topic. He says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. And when it is said to them in private, آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسِ. Believe as the rest of the people in Medina have believed, the believers, the Muslims. Believe. Right? So these are again their family members talking to them in private. Believe. Don't just say you believe. He doesn't say وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ قُولُوا آمَنَّا. That when it is said to them, say we believe, they've already said we believe. He's saying when it is said to them, truly believe in your hearts. Truly have that affirmation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the belief in Allah Azza wa Jal, which starts in your heart. Right? The belief of a Muslim starts in his heart, and then it manifests itself in the limbs, in the actions. But it starts, your faith is in your heart, right? You can say and speak as much as you want, make as many salawat as you want. None of it will be accepted if you don't believe in Allah in your heart. If you don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart, your actions are never going to be accepted. So that's why